Hey, Jacob.
Hey, Matt.
What are we driving today?
Oh, it's an Isuzu Mux.
An Isuzu MUX. This thing has just gone through a pretty minor, admittedly, facelift, so there are definitely some things to talk about. But since the last time that we reviewed the MUX, which we really liked it at the time, the Ford Everest has come out, and there's just a few things about this car that I don't particularly love now, but there are still some things that I really do. So I kind of want to go back through this car, go with a fine tooth comb and see, what's really good about it, but also what are some of the things that they can improve upon.
I think so.
Yeah. So today we're going to take you for an exterior tour of the Isuzu MUX. We're going to move on to the interior, show you what we like and what we don't really like. We're going to drive this thing, give it the sauce, including performance testing it. We're going to see just how quick it is from 0 to 100 km per hour. And we're going to end on our final thoughts. Should you buy one of these? Especially over its really stiff competition, the Ford Everest and the Mitsubishi Pajero Sport.
You're forgetting the Toyota Fortuner.
I'm not forgetting it. I'm intentionally leaving it out because that doesn't deserve a spot here. Jacob,
Let's do
this. Thank you to today's video sponsor, WiperTech. WiperTech sell high quality and durable wiper blades delivered straight to your door. Designed for all Aussie conditions, these blades fight rust, reduce wind lift, and glide smoothly thanks to their aerodynamic design and Teflon embedded rubber. They're easy to install, offer a perfect fit guarantee, and backed by a full 12-month warranty. Click the link below and use code CARSOURCE15 during checkout to get 15% off your order plus free express shipping. Thanks to WiperTech for sponsoring today's video. So today we are testing the LSM grade, which is actually the base model. It'll set you back about 60,500 Australian dollars. Drive away though, which is pretty decent value. However, it should be noted that you can get a Mitsubishi Pajero Sport GLS, which is older but does come with more standard equipment for about $2,000 less. And the benchmark of the segment at the moment, the Ford Everest, is about $4,000 more, but it does come again with more inclusions. But we'll come back to all that. Jacob, what do you think about the looks?
I think it looks really nice from the front.
It is a really good looking car. That's something I would not change about this. I really like it. Like these headlights here. They do have LEDs, but incandescent bulbs there. Base model though, I can't really blame it. Don't love it though. Check out this newly redesigned grille.
It's subtly different.
Yeah, it's subtly different. That's a great way of putting it. I honestly, I couldn't peg it. If you put two of them side by side, I probably wouldn't realize. But anyway, Isuzu badge there. But otherwise, it's a pretty tame looking SUV. Okay, so coming to the side, you're gonna see these 17-inch alloy wheels here. I think they're a decent design, man.
I think they look quite nice, especially with the big, thick rubber on them.
Oh, thick rubber. These are apparently all-terrain. They don't, probably not the best for off-roading, but hey, huge amount of sidewall there. So that should mean that this thing is pretty comfortable on road. We'll come back to that. Scratchy black plastic mirror caps.
Very base spec.
You start to notice some of the base model stuff here, including these black scratchy plastic door handles with no keyless entry. You do have keyless go though, which is completely redundant if you don't have keyless entry, I think. Down the bottom, ooh, metal side steps.
Quality.
That seems pretty quality. You don't get that on a Ford Everest. Plastic all the way there. But otherwise, there isn't much going on. I never like the look of these 7-seat off-road SUVs. They all look like giant rectangles to me from the side.
It's a bit blobby.
Bit blobby. Let's check out the bum. I actually really like the tushy of the Isuzu MUX. Really cool rear tail lights have been slightly redesigned, although again, it's kind of hard to tell. Again, incandescent bulbs. Stop it. Stop it, Isuzu. Can't be that expensive.
We don't like to see incandescent bulbs on our $60,000 cars.
It just cheapens it, okay? It cheapens the experience. And yes, other manufacturers might do it, but you need to change the trend. But otherwise, I actually really like them. 3-litre turbo diesel, that is in reference to its 4-cylinder Ford JJ3 engine. Again, we'll come back to that. Isuzu badge there. This one's also fitted with an optional towing kit with a wiring harness too. This thing can tow 3.5 ton. It's got a 3.5 ton braked towing capacity. Always good to see. An MUX badge right there.
You know what I find weird?
What?
The reversing camera is not central.
Yeah, it's a little bit to the left. Leans a little bit to the left.
Depending on which way you look at it.
Maybe not, yeah, true. Maybe not the best though for towing. But Jacob, it can't be a 7-seat off-road SUV without talking about practicality.
Let's do it.
Doesn't have a powered tailgate. Look, to be fair, I think it's only the Mitsubishi Pajero Sport that gets one at this price point. Ooh, a defib.
That's handy.
Make sure you carry one of these everywhere you go.
You never know when a heart attack may strike.
The way I eat, could be tomorrow.
Too many hamburgers.
It's a really good deal. All right, check this out, Jacob. Heaps of space in the back of here. For a 7-seat SUV, it's all relative, right? When all 3 rows are up, you actually do get plenty of space. You've also got a little bit of underfloor storage here. Let me just gently put that one back. 12-volt socket there too. Check this out though, Jacob.
I have a question.
No.
I have a question.
Okay, what?
Do you really think there's 300 litres in there? If you had to take a guess.
It's a bit of a stretch. Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch. I'd say that an MX-5 has a little less space, if that gives you any sort of reference. Check this out, Jacob.
Oh, nice.
That's really easy. Then you get a flat loading area, heaps of space back there too. Really good. You can also drop the second row and get even more space. How good is that?
I'm blown away.
Yeah, it's actually really impressive, the amount of practicality this thing has, at least when no one's sitting inside of it. Jacob, how about we check out the interior?
Let's sit inside of it.
Alrighty, coming on to the interior now of the Isuzu MU-X. Let's start with some of the things that I like, Jacob.
What do you like?
I like that there's... I don't like that. A lot of beeping and bonging and schmonging and longing. You've got some soft touch materials, you know, quite a lot of places actually. A lot of places that you wouldn't expect to see in a base model like this. Even like down to this fake leatherette here. It feels really nice. I like the design too. It actually looks pretty cool. You've also got heaps of storage. So split glove box there. And that's pretty damn good. You've got your cup holders that are also a little storage area in the sides, on both sides. That's all very cool. And generally speaking, you know, it sounds pretty okay.
Yeah, the build quality is actually pretty good.
Pretty good. But, and look, keeping in mind that this thing is a base model, there are just some things that I don't love. First of all, elephant in the room, we have a check engine light on. Now, that could be a DPF filter. In fact, that's probably what it is. It's a DPF issue, probably most likely. The explanation I've been given has been sitting around for a couple of months, hasn't been driven all that much, but we have driven like 300 or 400 kilometers today and the check engine light is still on. So maybe it's a code they need to clear if it is the DPF. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. We'll pin a comment down below as soon as we know, as soon as it's been diagnosed by Isuzu or whatever they tell us it is. And then I don't really love the gauges themselves anyway. So it doesn't have the digital instrument cluster that you'll find in a base model Ford Everest, even though that's the smaller one. It's got a small screen and it shows like enough information, but it's really not the best. Analog gauges otherwise. Before anyone says, oh, well, I don't want digital instrument clusters, they just break. Well, you've still got one, so it can still break. It's just not a very big one. Same as this infotainment display. The bezels are bigger than the screen itself.
Oh, much bigger.
And it's got really bad viewing angles. And the better touchscreen that you'll see in, for example, our D-Max review, you know, it's bigger, but it's essentially the same screen. But, you know, I certainly didn't love that, and I wouldn't have made it any smaller. It's worlds worse than what you'll find in a Ford Everest with its class-leading infotainment display. The Pajero Sport is pretty on par with this. It's just not the best. You do get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, which is very good. And the sound system is actually pretty decent as well, so I'm not going to complain too much. The air conditioning controls are a full analog style, but they're okay. Again, a Mitsubishi Pajero Sport comes with dual zone climate control for cheaper. So
And also auto and just all the kit and caboodle.
yeah, comparatively, it's just a little bit disappointing to see that. You've also got a bunch of blank buttons, but again, it's base model. I'm not really going to fault it for it. You do get a USB port and an AUX in, bit old school there. You've also got a 12-volt socket there. No wireless charger, but you don't get wireless charger across the range. So again, seems like a bit of a missed opportunity. The steering wheel is okay. I don't love plastic steering wheels. I just think that they feel bad in the hands. And when it's the thing that you touch the most in a car, it's always a shame.
But it's bloody rugged.
It is. I guess you can argue that. Or you could put one of those really fluffy pink covers over it.
Oh, you know what I'm doing later.
If that tickles your pickle. You've also got buttons here to control pretty much everything, so that's all very good. You've got your 4-drive system here. You've got 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low. So yes, it has a low-range transfer case, which is awesome. It's also got a rear locking diff, and you've got like an off-road mode button there, and that will help to optimize the traction control system for when you are going off-road. The only shame about this, though, and it is a shame, is it doesn't have any sort of permanent four-wheel drive, nothing that you can drive on road. Whereas both the Ford Everest and the Mitsubishi Pajero Sport with their four-wheel drive systems allow that.
That's a bit of a miss.
That is a bit of a miss. You see these like little things that, I mean, 2 years ago it was fine, but the industry is moving so quickly that it's just, I don't know where this really sits anymore, because if you want that budget option, you go for the Pajero Sport. And if you want that premium option, you go for the Everest. But if you want the neutral option, you go for the D-Max.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, right? Because, like, I mean, I'd still rather this over a Toyota Fortuner.
Oh, that's not even in the question. By the way, door bins are a pretty decent size. Oh, and the seats. They're okay. The design is actually pretty cool. The cloth feels a bit base model-y, but the seats in the Pajero Sport do feel worse. There isn't any sort of lumbar support or anything, but over longer journeys, it doesn't seem to be an issue anyway, so I'm not going to complain about that. Jacob?
There's no vanity mirrors.
That is weird.
I don't know what's with that.
That is cost saving. That is cost saving at its finest. Anyway, let's check out the back seats. Okay, so coming to the back seat now, what's it like? Well, I'm 5'11". I've actually got plenty of leg room, plenty of toe room too, plenty of headroom. I will say it's definitely more comfortable in the back of this than it is in a Pajero Sport, although the Ford Everest is about the same. You have map pocket here with a little storage area. You can put your phone in there. You've also got a couple of USB-A ports, which is great to see. You've got a 4-kilo hook here, which is a nice little feature. It means if you've got shopping or anything, you can just hang it there. These seats, again, it's the cloth. It's okay. You do have a center armrest that's actually quite well padded with a couple of cup holders in there. Pretty good. The other thing I like, check this out, Jacob.
Oh,
You can really recline these seats quite a lot.
it's quite nice.
Get a lie down position. I mean, the people in the back seat probably won't like it, but let's talk about that, because the back seats on this is actually really, really good. So again, 5'11", plenty of leg room, headroom, and toe room.
It's super easy to get back there as well.
Super easy to get into the back too. You don't get any USB ports back there, but you do get a couple of cup holders and some storage. But I think the story there is that at 5'11", I can fit back there, and I'm a pretty average sized dude. So that's really good to see. Again, way better than a Pajero Sport.
Yeah, and you get airflow back there as well, which is really good.
That is really good. Oh, I did mention that. Yeah, fan control. Oh,
Ooh, that's loud.
it's pretty strong aircon too, which is nice in the Australian summer. Jacob,
Yeah,
let's drive it.
okay.
Alrighty, Fred. Driving on saucy gravel road.
We're doing a proper off-road bloody test here.
What?
Normally you go on the embankment, and
Oh.
I fear for my life.
This is a really good test, Jacob, of suspension, because it's terrible roads.
Oh, it's shocking.
Oh. It's pretty good suspension.
It's genuinely amazing.
It's well sprung. I'll give it that. It's comfy. I love how they go for that independent rear suspension, double wishbone front. You know,
It makes a big difference, genuinely, with a car this big.
it really does. So far, so good. But there's one test that's the ultimate test.
The sine waves.
We all know what it is. This is the ultimate test, Jacob. Now,
What
I
is
will warn everyone. We do have a little bit of a little daddy check engine light on there. The explanation we have received is that it's probably the DPF.
Yes.
And these diesel particulate filters are known for throwing up check engine lights, being a little bit on the sensitive end. A bit like you.
Bit pedantic.
A bit like you, mate.
Thanks, mate.
But it doesn't seem to affect the driving, so we're still going to give it lots of sauce.
I can't believe you'd go there.
Everything's going wrong.
Bro, can you stick it properly this time?
Oh,
Bro,
hi.
whose hair is whose hair is that? Do it harder. More weight. What if the whole steering wheel snapped off? Alright. We good?
I really hope so.
Okay.
Come on, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, give me that relaxed acceleration.
It's really in no rush to go anywhere, is it?
Nowhere quick, but it just seems to keep pulling. So we have the 3-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol diesel engine.
That sounded weird.
This is called the that one sounded a bit sad. Excuse me while I clear my throat. The Ford JJ3. Now look, this engine is known for its reliability. To be fair, the diesel particulate filter is not really a part of the engine, it's part of the exhaust system, but we will let you know what has happened. Once we know, we will pin a comment down in the comment section about, you know, why this check engine light is there.
Seems to be driving okay, so.
Totally fine. I reckon they'll need to clear it and then it'll be fine. But power outputs are 140 kilowatt of power, 450, oh, that traction just kicked in there.
Pretty strong.
Let me do that again. 140 kilowatt of power, 450 newton meters of torque. And yeah, this thing does have a bit of a hypersensitive, I would say, electronic stability control. So that is a little bit annoying. But in terms of how it drives, I will say we are on these big fat tires and it's actually pretty comfy.
It's genuinely comfortable. I mean, it's not going to handle amazingly well.
No.
It's a massive 7-seat off-road SUV.
No, but I let me tell you something I'm a little disappointed about. Yes, you get four-wheel drive, but you don't get permanent four-wheel drive like you would get in a Mitsubishi Pajero Sport, which is a little bit cheaper, or even in the Ford Everest, which is about $3,000 more expensive with that four-wheel drive system. And so what that means is that you do get a little bit less grip on the roads than you would in those other two cars.
It is a little bit disappointing, man.
Which is a little disappointing. And I think that, you know, when this came out, it was really top of the class and it was really hard to fault.
Yeah, I remember we reviewed the LST together like 2 years ago.
We did. I think you fed me
I fed you a cheese, Big Mac.
Big Mac.
Because we called it the Big Mac. Why did we do that?
I don't know, man. But I think, you know, a couple of years later, now that the Ford Everest is out, it's hard for me to say, yeah, this is like, you know, get this over that. This is what I'm struggling with. You get a little bit less power, a little bit less torque. It feels a bit more lethargic. Fuel economy is great though. If we pull that up, 9.6 litres per 100 kilometres. That's
pretty good for a car of this size, definitely.
100%. And it's got to be better than what you get in a Ford Everest for sure. You know, you can push that thing down a hill in neutral and it'll still get 10 litres per 100 kilometres. So it's better in that sense, but it does just feel a little bit more lethargic. This 6-speed torque converter gearbox is just a little bit slow to respond. Yeah, you put your foot down. It does the job.
Look, it is a rock-solid engine, right? But I just feel like this whole platform is in need of a pretty major update.
It does feel a bit like that now. At least add permanent four-wheel drive. If you do that, I reckon...
Then it would be competitive.
100%. Saucy corner. There's a lady just stopped there. She's going to wonder why we're stopping. But that's because you're going to tickle my little pickle. Let's go, baby.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
It's not quick. No. Okay. We're going up first corner. Come on, baby.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
I do like the weighting of the steering wheel though, but we do have to cross our hands over.
Oh God, yeah, it just cuts all power.
A bit like the Mahindra Scorpio, actually, which really cut power. More than this, but oh God, this has really cut power.
Oh,
come on.
Okay.
So even that is a little bit disappointing. Like it's a bit too much. I will say the one thing I do like is the autonomous driving features. Let's just quickly set it.
Now you have to press the steering wheel button.
Oh, come on, baby.
Yeah, there we go. It's locked on.
It's locked on.
Look, I will say it will allow you to leave the lane, and before it brings you back in. It's definitely not the best, but at the moment it seems to be doing not great.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But you can now turn all of that off straight from here. You just hold down this steering wheel button. Oh, and it's now all off. That was a good feature to add in the
Definitely.
facelift.
I will say though, yesterday driving it, I did have a glitch where all those systems turned off and they would not turn back on. And I didn't press the steering wheel button and I had to fully pull over, restart the car before they would turn back on. So
better calibration things.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how to feel about this, man. On the one hand, it's pretty good, but on the other hand, there are better.
Well, that's it. I think the whole industry has kind of moved forward while this has just kind of stayed in place. That's what it feels like.
All right, Jacob. Let's do the ultimate test.
Let's do it. 0 to 100.
0 to 100, baby. All right, friend. Let's launch this thing. We did poopy on it a little bit. It's not that it's a bad car.
Yeah.
It's just that it's got competition.
Yeah.
Pretty stiff competition.
Definitely.
Okay, but let's launch it. Let's see the real test, the performance
We
test.
finished with our poo-poo.
Yeah.
Now it's time to TT.
So we're gonna brake boost launch it. Where's our little traction-y button?
Good question.
Oh, right there.
There we go. Ooh.
Oh, traction is now off, and you're gonna fist me. Don't misconstrue that.
Oh, come on.
I did a bit slower, so it wouldn't wheel spin. I think that's a good thing.
All right.
Okay, come on, baby.
Still pulling a little bit.
Yeah. All right, 0 to 100 in 11.09 seconds. It's not the fastest.
I'm a little bit sad about that. I thought this would be its redeeming quality.
Well, I don't know why when it has not the greatest power and torque output.
I was just hoping, all right? I was
Okay,
being optimistic.
final thoughts.
Shut up!
Alrighty, so final thoughts on the Isuzu MU-X. Jacob, can I lay it on you?
Please do.
There are some things I really like about this car. I like the way it looks. I actually quite like the interior, even though I don't think it's quite as good as some of its competitors. Certainly not the most feature-rich thing in this LSM, but it's still pretty damn good. Even the ride quality is fantastic, very good. The thing I don't really love about this car is that I feel like if you spend a little bit less, you can, in some cases, get a little bit more with the Mitsubishi Pajero Sport, even though it might not look as good, even though it might be built on an older architecture. I don't know, you're still saving a bit and getting quite a lot more kit. The Ford Everest as well, it kind of does everything that this car does, but it just levels it up a little bit. And it's really hard to talk about reliability when you've got a check engine light on in the car as well, even though it's probably not the engine and probably the DPF. I don't know. So while there's a lot of things I still really love about the Isuzu MU-X, I'm gonna leave it to you guys down in the comment section below. What do you think of this? Do you own one? Would you buy one?